Hello everyone, this is Dion Soul. I hope everyone is doing well, and as you see before you, we are looking at the BAe146. This is the 200 version, and we'll go more into that in a bit, but this is going to be a lengthy video. This is going to be a review of this aircraft along with just general discussion about flight simulation and aviation, or mostly flight simulation, aviation in general. And so this is going to be a long one. I will have timestamps in the description down below, and also definitely throw a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated, helps the channel. And also you also see this over on other platforms such as Odyssey. You probably see this on Odyssey, Rumble, and on YouTube. I upload to Rumble first, and then I let it filter down to all the rest of the platforms second thereafter. So that's how I roll. Anyway, so what's going on here is as I decided to fly in the X-Plane platform is because of this product that you see right before us here. This is an awesome airplane. It is one of my favorite X-Plane, one of my favorite airliners. I've always been a high wing guy anyway, so a C-17, airplanes like this. I think Embraer has got a military twin engine variant that's a high wing aircraft that I wish someday somebody would make, you know, that a study level or a near study level quality of that aircraft as well. I will give you money because I just love my high wings. Excuse me as I take a swig of water. I lean towards the high wing aircraft over the low wing aircraft a little more. I just think high wing aircraft are cool, but I mean I like them both. You know, don't get me wrong. I like both I just like airplanes in general. Hence, that's why I'm an aviation and flight simulation enthusiast. And so this airplane right here, like I say, is near study level. Is it a one-to-one copy of the real world? Obviously not. No aircraft in the flight simulation world is truly a one-to-one comparison, or at least I haven't run across any. The aircraft, the fit and finish of this aircraft is very, very nice. And before I go off on my review of this aircraft, I probably should say where you can pick this bad boy up. And you can pick this bad boy up over here at Just Flight, at their Just Flight website, and it is in cooperation with Thranda, so a big shout out to Thranda for helping them create this aircraft, because if it wasn't for Thranda, we probably wouldn't have this aircraft in the X-Plane platform. So kudos to Thranda for making it happen. Now I'm just going out on a limb by saying that. I really don't know, you know, the behind the scenes behind, but like I said, I'll just say it anyway. But anyway, so you can pick it up over here at Just Fly, and then you can also pick it up over here at the xplane.org store for the same $74.99. And to get it out of the way, is it worth the $79.99, $74.99? For me personally, yes it is. For me personally, I don't have any problem giving them the money because of what you get for your money. First off, you get a near study level where you get a lot of systems modeled, probably not every single one of them that the airplane has in the real world, but you get a good fair amount of systems modeling that you get to get geeked out on, and so that is a big plus. And as you can see in the text description here, you have 8 models to choose from, so you're actually getting 8 different airplanes. You're getting 8 basically ACF files, which is each ACF file is an individual aircraft, and so you're getting these, and you're getting the variants of these of the 8 different aircraft. So you get 8 ACF files basically. Pretty much, you know, I think there's a little bit of, you know, finagling going on down there. You also have the integration of the GTN750 for those of you who use the GTN750. I was one of the people that was using the GTN750, but as of X-Plane 11, which we are sporting today, 11.55 was R1 or R2 or R3. I forgot what it was. I don't really think it's the fault of X-Plane. I think it's the fault of RealityXP. RealityXP for me has not been working very well, so the GTN750 in effect has not been working very well. I'm getting a black screen when you load up an aircraft, or I would get a reboot message on the bottom left hand corner of the display of the GTN GTN750, or X-Plane just will not load at all. It'll sit there and hang trying to load the GTN750 plug-in, try to load it to be able to get to to be able to load it, to load the airplane. It just hangs right there, and you go and you look at the X-Plane log, and you can see that's where it hangs up at. So the latest version of the RealityXP GTN750 has not been working for me, so I just basically said, you know what, I'm done. I'll just have to live without it. And it's not just this particular airplane right here that we are talking about today, our today's hero today. It's with all airplanes. So that's just been my personal experience, and I'm just telling you all this for you guys. You guys may be having the same issues. I don't know. But there is a silver lining to this. It has basically forced me to be able to learn how to use the UFMC, which comes with this aircraft, which is their own custom FMC. They basically took the out-of-the-box X-Plane, sorry, not Microsoft, the basic X-Plane, Laminar Research FMC, and they actually just made it a universal FMC. I thought there was a standalone universal FMC out there, but I couldn't find it. So if somebody can tell me where that is in the description down below, if it's not too expensive, I might just buy that so it could hopefully work with other aircraft as well. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But it does. This aircraft, the BAe146, does support that. Like I say again, those are the most notable things: is the amount of airplanes you get to fly, the included FMC, the GTN750 if yours happens to work. Now, granted, I will say on that. Let me switch back to that GTN750 topic. If you happen to be running OpenGL, then probably you're not having any issues. But with Vulkan, that's where the issues start to happen, and I run Vulkan. Vulkan is I would rather sacrifice the GTN750 not working and not sacrifice Vulkan. Vulkan for me, as far as frame rates and good user experience for me, has been a lot better using using Vulkan. So I will rather sacrifice GTN750 in this regard. So I just have to use, the silver lining is just have to use the custom FMC. So the fit and finish of this aircraft looks awesome. Let me jump back over here into the back in here where we're talking about, and we're sporting my Solo Swings livery that I spent about 6 or so hours on doing this. I got my November 531 Lima Mike, which is my dad's birthday. So this is a shout out to my father, who passed away in 2017. So in loving memory of him, good man. And so I've got his birth date and his initials as my as my branding. So anyway, so Solo Swings, and like I say, this is the combi version, or the combi/cargo version, which you see that big honking door right there. The only way to open the door is to have hydraulics, so we won't be able to open this door right now till once we actually get inside the cockpit and starting everything up. But like I say again, the fit and finish is pretty good. It comes with a GPU, ground power unit, which is very, very nice. This airplane, I find that it is very comparable to especially the 300 series, because this is the 200 series. I find the 300 series is very comparable to the 737-200 by FlyJSim. The 737, that's my another favorite add-on for as far as airliners are concerned for the X-Plane platform, is the 737-200. Yes, I did a video on it, ripping it a new one, ripping it apart, but over time I came around to FlyJSim's way of thinking, and now I can't give the FlyJSim 737-200 nothing but praise. The only thing I would like to see FlyJSim do with their product is actually take the UFMC add-on and find some way to get it in there instead of using the out-of-the-box X-Plane. But there is a caveat to that, because with X-Plane 12, we are getting an updated FMC that's supposed to be more in line with more modern, FMCs that are more more functional and then the out of the box. And of course, that's the reason why Thranda and Just Fly created their own FMC, this universal FMC, is for the simple fact that they, the existing X-Plane one just wasn't good enough and they wanted it better. And me as a customer, I'm perfectly happy with that. I'm perfectly happy with what they did there. So anyway, like I said, the airplane looks awesome. I can't complain. It doesn't have very many doors that open and close, which is most unfortunate. There's not a lot of walk around role-playing activities that you can do with this aircraft. In other words, if I want to go over here and open up the stairs and whatnot, and we'll just go ahead and do that as we speak, and you can hear my my traffic program. Got some airplanes way out in the distance here at KWJF doing something. You can click on this. It's a little bit too high, but you can click on it and the hitbox to open it up, which is really, really cool. So that is open. And of course, now that my now I got to get my thing back there. Okay, there it is. Now the control box to be able to open the stairs, there is no control box door down here for me to be able to get to open up these stairs. So from a role-playing perspective, let's say that I wanted to I wanted to be able to have that full role-playing experience where, okay, I just been able to open this door here. I would like to get these stairs out. Well, you don't really have a way to do it here, so the workaround solution is you bring up these windows right here with this little bitty tab. And you can make this tab go away for your screenshots and whatnot. As you can see, I'm using my scroll wheel, and I actually need to turn on my my mouse. So hang on just a second. Okay, now I fixed the mouse issue. So yeah, so if you click on here, you can see where my mouse is. If I get back in here, there you can see my mouse. You see my mouse? There's my mouse. Okay, well anyway, if you mouse over here to the little arrow key right here, and you can see me on the center of the screen, center left screen, I can see him using the mouse wheel to open and close, or to make that brighter and make that dimmer, which is really cool for your screenshots and whatnot. But anyway, these are the different windows that they have available for us to be able to interact with the aircraft. The first one up here that you can see right here is, this is our all or nothing. This is, you turn this on, it is ready for takeoff. We won't do that because we want to go through the experience. So but that's what the lightning bolt is, and that is standard with I think all Just Fly's aircraft, at least I've noticed, is that you have that lightning bolt and you have these type of things. You have the checklist, which you see right here, and you can actually click on the, after you check it off, it turns green and whatnot, and you can go through all that. We're going to do it a little differently. I have xCheck installed, which is a mod or an add-on that makes it a little bit more of an interactive. So we'll be using xCheck in this particular video. The next one is the flight computer itself, basically fuel. So you have a reset button. You can switch to metric and imperial. I'm a stinking American, so us stinking Americans, we got to have our imperial units, so which is bigger numbers. It makes us look bigger, and that sort of thing. So this is really nice to have, especially when you're trying to set a few things up here and there. It's nice to have this flight computer, standard with I've noticed with Just Fly aircraft, so nothing new there. And of course you can see this is the one that we have right now for interactions with the aircraft. Here's your autopilot. You have two for the autopilot. You got the glare shield up here, and then on the bottom console, which we will see once we get sitting down in the captain's chair, in the big chair, you'll see that where this is related to. Just convenience of having it up where you can easily access it. This right here switches to your VASI, your vertical speed indicator. Changes it from just standard, tells you what your vertical speed, plus up to 6,000 or minus 6,000. It makes it so now you've got a digital display, and that now you'll be able to have traffic, depicted in there. The TMS, which is the throttle management system, is basically it's a computer that you can pre-select and also to sync all 4 of your engines together when you're in flight, and you can see with all the buttons here. We're not gonna go. I'd be here for years, so we're not gonna go over through every one, but you'll see the use of some of these. And of course, lastly, the weather radar. I have not had weather here in Southern California and all the flights that I've flown around to be able to have the weather be depicted in this yet. So to be frankly blunt and honest with you, I don't know if this thing works. I just have to assume it does, but I have not been in situations where I needed to see the weather. So anyway, so back to there's a lot of activity over there. So to get these stairs out, we'll go ahead and hit the stairs here. And then they'll just kind of pop out for us, which is pretty cool. Don't get me wrong, I like it. I think it's pretty neato. Sounds don't there they go. Now they somewhat line up with the animations, but close enough. Pretty much, they pretty much line up. So I'll take that back. They line up, and then we'll go ahead and come on over here. And we'll go ahead and simulate that we're going to install the GPU, the ground power unit, or in the European people they say it's the external power unit. So whatever fits your flavor. We'll go ahead and turn that on right now. Sadly, there is no interaction with it other than what you just saw I do right now. We don't have a little blinky light going on here that it's active, or they have this little bitty thing right here saying that you got the reflectors right here, but you don't have any illuminated reflectors. You don't have the ability like you do in the King Air, the Airfoil Labs King Air 350, where it comes out and then you actually have a button or two to be able to turn the unit on and modeled on the on the GPU to actually for you to turn it on. You don't have that role-playing experience, which is okay, and you don't have any smoke coming out of the little stack when you're turning it on. Once you get the thing started, you won't have any. Yeah, I mean, and they actually got the gas filler right here. It'd be kind of cool if they would actually model you actually being able to put fuel into this, some diesel fuel into this thing. If you really want to get anal attentive about it, you could do that. So. And as far as the little light in the back corner here, this light is just a facade. I have not seen it illuminate any colors of, green, yellow, or red, so it's just a facade. It's kind of a bummer. It would be kind of cool if, like right now, we are, I don't know what you would, what state, how you would, you'd set up the mechanics on how the state of what is red, green, and, go or whatever. They could probably work on that in the future. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and go on inside. Well, you know what, before we do that, let me talk about the engines real quick here. The engines look very, very nice. Really, they're pretty detailed, pretty good. I'm not stressing on that at all. I think they look very, very nice. The only thing that I would like to see the developer add, or to add some functionality over time, is, as you see in videos on YouTube and pictures where you can actually do a little bit of service maintenance on these. That would be kind of cool, where you can actually pop these latches and be able to bring the cowlings up, so then that when you actually look inside and actually see the inner workings of the turbine, and changing the oil and whatnot, and actually have where you can actually add oil and add fluids and whatnot. Matter of fact, I personally would not be opposed to giving them a little extra money in adding being able to add fluids to the aircraft, all fluids to the aircraft, from windshield washer fluid all the way up to adding fuel, and actually having the ability to be able to have a truck come out and actually add fuel and actually have an interaction with the truck and that sort of thing. I would be willing to pay that extra money for that. Will that ever happen? I kind of doubt it. I don't think it will. I don't think the developers, a lot of times, they make these aircraft where they're going to make money, and if they don't think they're going to make money with these add-ons like that, then, you know, it is what it is. And I know somebody would say, well, hey, Dion, why don't you just do it? And it's like, well, yeah, right. You know, I'm not a modeler. Sorry, not a modeler. But that would be cool, you know, to actually have the ability to actually have, you know, have these where you can actually add fuel and gas and stuff and that and the other thing. That would be pretty neat. And I'd be willing to pay the extra, you know, DLC, the digital downloaded content for it. You know, it wouldn't bother me at all. So as you can see, we are in the, like I say, in the combi version. I would have thought in the combi version that this partition would not be here, that this right here would be where the where the small volume of passengers would be. But unfortunately, the way that they developed it, you can see the way this combi version is set up, you don't have that. You just have the big door and the whole thing. You'll see later the whole thing is just empty. So now we're inside here, and then we'll go ahead and get inside the door, and you can see the resolution and the detail of all of the these are all, you know, just baked on graphics, and you can tell by looking at it they are baked on graphics. Am I going to be disappointed in that and say, hey, it's not worth $74? No. I think it's just fine. Would I like to have the 3D details of these, like the doorknobs and stuff like that? Sure, I would, but I am not tripping that it's not there. And also saves frame rates too for small potato computers such as mine. Trying to draw all that stuff would end up eating up my resources of my and have bad frame rates. So I'm not tripping on it. It would just be nice. If I had a fancier and faster computer, then yeah, I'd be probably more critical of it. But because, you know, I have a potato computer, I am not going to really worry about that too much. So here we are getting inside the office here. The office here, once you get in, you have yourself a jump seat right here, which actually the jump seat actually works. So let me reposition myself a little bit here, which I think is kind of cool. You click on this little button right here, and you can slide it right on out, which is pretty neato. It'll go all the way out to right here, and then it stops. It doesn't go all the way out to, you know, where you think where you can actually have somebody sit in the jump seat. So it's just a slide out thing. So I don't, you know, it is what it is. Hey, you got an audio panel. It's all functional and working. You can see I got hit boxes here, all galore for an audio panel, which is modeled, which is nice. Can't complain about that. I am kind of taking a little bit of a frame rates hit right now because of all the airplanes on the outside. Now you probably hear. Let me close the let me close this door here real quick. You could probably hear some ticking going on here. It's coming out of my left ear, and you can hear some tick like a stopwatch. And I noticed that is this airplane right here. Let me go ahead and close the doors so you can actually hear it a little bit better. Let's go ahead and close this. Okay, of course now you hear the other airplane that's outside, but which is world traffic. But if you hear out of the left side of your ear, you hear a ticky tick 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 sound. It sounds like a clock, and I noticed it on the on this 200. On the 100 version, you don't have that clicking sound. So either that something is trying to work, or there's some clock somewhere. I mean, yes, there's a clock right here, but this clock right here does not make any noise in the with the 100. So I don't know why I'm getting that clicky sound, but once you start the airplane flies fine. Once you start the airplane, you don't hear it anymore because of all the other sounds. But I just thought it was just kind of weird. So I don't know where that clicking sounds come from. So anyways, let's go ahead and go introduce ourselves into the cockpit here and get started here. So first thing we're going to do, we got the GPU going, so we'll go ahead and turn on well, actually, we'll just go ahead and just start. We'll start the setup process with xChecklist. And xChecklist, you can pick it up over on the xplain.org downloads page. Just search xChecklist to find it. I'm not going to go through all the drama of showing you where it all is. If you want it, you can go there and to xplain.org download site and search for it and find it. So pre-flight.
Gear handle. Down. Weather radar. Off. Transponder. Off/STVY. Air brake handle. In.
That's up there.
Flap handle. Up. NAV lights.
NAV lights. So that's what I think I'll just, instead of me trying to follow the camera around everywhere. So we'll go over here and we'll turn on the NAV lights. There is two versions. There is a low version. My honeycomb yoke is automatically bound to the low switch.
Battery 1 and 2.
But you do have the high switch, the high intensity switch up here. So if you're in a very bright environment, you just turn it on high instead of course now I just turned it on, so now we'll turn it back off. And if I turn on high up here, now it's on high. Okay, so what else did he say? He said, let me get this back down here. He said the batteries 1 and 2. So batteries 1 and 2 is going to be right here.
Battery 1 and 2. 23V.
And there you go.
Gear indicator. 3 green. Parking brake handle. Yellow and on.
Yeah, that's down there.
Yaw damp master 1 and 2.
Yaw damp master 1 and 2 is going to be up here.
On. Autopilot master.
On.
On. Avionics master A and B.
On.
On. Anti-skid.
Anti-skid
On.
is right
Blink
there.
spoilers yell and GRN.
Right here.
On. Bus tie AC and DC.
I'll go ahead and turn this one on just because. Okay, bus ties for AC was going to be down here in the electrical panel. We're going to go bada boom, bada bang.
Standby INV.
Turn that on.
ARM. Standby Gen.
On.
ARM. Gen 1.
That's going to be off.
Galley. Shed.
Shed.
APU Gen.
You want me to turn on? APU. You want me to turn on? Okay.
On.
On.
Gen 4.
Oh, that's going to be leave it off.
Fire handles.
Fire handles are all in.
Ground tests.
Okay, there's another hour's worth of video and going through all these ground tests. We're not going to do that, but it's safe to say all these work, and you have these ground tests that you can go through every little minutia of ground testing. So, but we're not going to do that in this video right here because it would take way too long. So we'll say as required.
As REQ. GPU.
Okay, GPU call. See, this is
TAC.
so what we're going to do is we're going to turn this on here.
As
like
REQ. APU.
Okay, now because we got power to the busing, now we can start the APU.
Start. APU.
It's just going to say run once it gets, all this is up to where it needs to be.
Running.
Running.
L inner pump.
L inner pump, because we have this low pressure, it's just sucking fuel by suction, and so in order for us to do that, make it so that it doesn't do that, you go here to the inner pump, and now you see it went away. And so now the main system test thing,
annunciators,
that's what that does. Okay, the annunciators is going to be up here in this little button right over here. Hit that, make sure everything is working.
Cabin emergency lights.
Okay, cabin emergency lights are going to be up here to ARM.
APU air.
APU air is going to come down here, and you see where the air supply is in the air supply panel.
As REQ.
Turn that on.
Pack 1 and 2.
Okay, pack 1 and 2. We'll go ahead and turn those on to give us some air.
As REQ. Temp cell FLT deck and cabin.
Okay, that's where all this stuff is on air conditioning. So we'll just go ahead and just turn it on and get it out of the way. And we'll go ahead and turn this on to the fans.
As REQ.
And temperature.
DC pump.
See, right now it's at 41 degrees Celsius, so now we're cooling this bad boy down. And I have the fans going. Now it comes back on the flight deck and the cabin. So you can see how it's cooling down right now. So all that's modeled. See, this stuff you don't see in Microsoft Flight Simulator. You don't get all this information. And that's one of the reasons why I'm back in X-Plane, because I like all this stuff. This is very, very cool. Okay, and it says DC pump. So we go back to over here, and then we go over here to DC pump. Nah, that's not good. Let's go back over here to this one. So DC pump on.
And hold or bat. Brake ACC low press LT.
Okay, brake ACC. I think
Off. DC pump.
I turn all these on.
AC pump. Auto or on.
I kind of messed it up right there.
Greater than 2000 psi. PTU.
Now I turn the PTU back on.
Green hide press. Greater than 2000 psi. PTU.
Back off.
Off.
Okay.
AC pump.
AC pump off.
Off. Thrust levers. Fuel off. Continuous ignition A and B. Off.
That's off. Over
Engine
here.
Anti-ice 1 to 4. Off.
That's all off
Screen
here.
heat L and R. Off. Auxiliary and L vane.
Ice protection's all right here.
Off. Pitot heaters L and R. Off. Outer wing anti-ice. Off. Inner wing de-ice.
All this.
Off. Tail anti-ice. Off. Ang air 1 to 4. Off.
That's
FLT
all this.
deck emergency LTS.
Flight deck emergency. That's going to be this little guy right here. Turn this to arm.
Arm. Yaw dampers.
Yaw dampeners. They want me to turn those on now. So you come down here to the pedestal into this corner right here. We hit that on.
Autopilot.
Autopilot is off.
Off. Radios COM 1 and 2.
Okay, radios COM 1 and 2 is all right here. And we move let me get around the flap button there. I can turn it on.
On. Oxygen valve.
Okay, oxygen valve is over here on the co-pilot side. Turn that on.
Parking brake handle.
Parking brake
Yellow
handle.
and on.
That's normal.
Brake temp panel.
Okay, brake tip panels down here. The parking brake is right here, by the way. You have yellow and green modes. I've always used the yellow mode. I have not messed with the green mode. So we turn this. You can do test, and then you can do on,
Brake temp selector.
and you can go through the brake temps on each one, and whatever the highest one is
Max.
going to be the max set.
Brake pressure yellow L and R. Greater than 2500 psi. Thrust levers.
Yeah, it's over here.
Fuel off. Hide pumps and PTU.
Oh, they want me to play
All
around
off.
with this? All off, yeah.
CTR tank transfer.
Okay,
Auto. X feed.
that's this one.
Shut. STBY pump L and R. Off. Common feed L and R. On. Fuel pumps.
Okay, the fuel pumps, they want me to turn them all on? I mean, yeah, they're all on.
All on. Cabin altitude.
Cabin altitude, we'll set it.
Mode. Auto.
Auto mode.
Ice detect. On. Exterior LTS.
Okay, exterior lights, you can turn on whatever, as required, logo lights, wing lights, whatever. We don't need any of that crap, so we're not going to worry about that right now. So we'll just hit as required.
SREQ.
So we'll just bypass
No
that.
smoking.
No smoking
Auto.
is auto.
Temp control FLT deck and cabin.
Okay, we've already did that already.
Auto. Temp cell FLT deck and cabin. As REQ. Fasten belts.
Fasten seatbelt sign is going to be down here.
On. Fuel used.
Fuel used.
All zero.
All zeros. You hit
Fuel
the
quantity.
hit the resetting button right here. Fuel quantity. You can see the fuel quantity right there. Now let's say I wanted to add. Let's stop this a second. Let's say I want to add more fuel. I can go over here into the. First off, you click on this little space right here, and it brings up your tablet. And then you can add fuel, take away fuel, whatever. So let's start out. Okay, we got no cargo. So we got no cargo at all. And now you can just click once and it brings all the cargo. Now we are into kilograms, so we got to get rid of that. Let's get back into American units, America. Yeah, pounds. So we got basically what the 200 QC variant does is it makes it so what you would have in cargo and passenger weight and count, it just puts them all. It just changes it to cargo. You just have one side door, and that whole thing is now cargo, which is 16,250 pounds. And then, of course, on the underbelly, you got 1,800 pounds forward and 1,849 pounds aft. So you got a total of whatever that adds up to. I'd have to do some math, and I'm not going to do the math right now. And as far as fuel is, same scenario. Fuel. You can just click on it, it fills up the aircraft completely, or you can use your mouse wheel to control how much fuel you want. And so let's say I want 5,000 pounds of fuel. 502. And then 502. Oops, I went too far. Because the APU is going right now, the auxiliary power unit is going right now, this is going down. The APU feeds out of the left tank, the left wing tank. The center tank gets used first with all 4 engines, and then or the fuel gets transferred out of the center tank into the wing tanks, but the engines get fed from the wing tanks. Is how how it's wired, for lack of a better term. So we're not going to go very far. Let's just go over here. I might have to add some more here in a bit. Anyway, so that's the fuel, and if you want to add fuel, or you can just go over here into the X-plane and actually just put in the fuel. Let's say that I wanted full fuel. The full 20,640 pounds, I can do that. And if I wanted full weight, of course, I can put in that much, but no, we can't do that. So if we put in weight, like 21,000 pounds or whatever, you could do it that way too. So let's say that you get from SimBrief, it says, well, hey, you're going to carry 14,000 pounds of whatever they made up. You would just go in here and put the 14,560 pounds in here, and then fuel-wise, it says, hey, we're going to go 8,000 pounds of, or let's back up. Let's put in 14,777 pounds of fuel. Then you could do it that way, and then you can come over here and hit apply, and then now all the weight has been added, and then the fuel has been added accordingly. So you could do it that way with SimBrief. Get your SimBrief information, put it in there, and then it'll distribute it out accordingly. The announcements things is cool, but because this is a cargo craft, I don't really care. They don't really have any bearing. If you happen to hit a wrong button, you just hit the reset, and it'll start the process all over again. So no problem there. Windshield reflections and whatnot, you can turn them on and off. That's what that's all about. And then same with the instruments. I kind of like the reflections, so I'm not really too tripping on that. You can, when you click on this button right here, it flips over to the AVI tab. If you have the AVI tab plugin, which I do, you can put the AVI tab in here and then put in your routes and all the fancy stuff that AVI tab and all the functionality of AVI tab. So there you go. Now let's go back to our actual startup procedure here. Okay, so fuel quality, we already checked that.
Checked. Cockpit voice recorder.
Okay, cockpit voice recorder is down here. And we'll go ahead and test.
NAV1 radio.
And we will go ahead and turn these on while we're here. Get us a little bit extra light. Okay, AV1 radio, that's going to be this right here. We'll turn it on.
NAV1 DME. STVY or on. ADF radio 1 and 2.
ADF radio,
ADF.
right here.
Altimeters.
Altimeter setting. Okay, now altimeter setting, I need to get that from Active Sky. So bear with me just a second here as I am loading Active Sky off camera, because I do have off Active Sky for XP. And what's going to be cool with X-Plane 12 is that we will no longer need Active Sky for XP. Maybe, maybe not. Let me put that clarifier in there. Maybe, maybe not. But yeah, so you know, we may not need it anymore. So then we can put in our altimeter setting, which is 3021. Or if I was really lazy, I can do my plane command. If my plane command is all set up here, altimeter 3012.
Altimeter 3012.
There you go. Sync heading.
Heading 239 degrees.
Altitude 13,500 feet.
Altitude 13,500 feet.
Altitude 25,000 feet.
Altitude 25,000 feet.
So plane command's pretty cool. That's another add-on. That's a paid-for add-on. You do have freeware version of the plane command, but it's not as robust, obviously, because they want you to give them money. And I really like it because sometimes it's very helpful having plane command in the system. Course 310.
Course set to 310.
You know, that kind of thing. Which is pretty cool. So okay, so anyway, so we set our first altimeter. Let's go ahead and set our second altimeter to 312.
Altimeter set MWS.
And put this at 312 over here on the co-pilot side. Okay, so now we go back to main system test thing again here.
Test. TMS.
Okay, TMS is this guy right here. You got two. You can either operate it here, or you can just click on it right here. I kind of like, you know, getting my feet wet. So our temperature currently outside looks like it's 19 degrees Celsius. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a 19 degrees Celsius here, and then we're going to turn it on.
TMS.
It's actually going to run our tests.
Test.
So it's going to go through
TMS.
the testing procedure on this throttle management computer. And there we go. Okay, so that is done. Now I can now it wants me to set it for takeoff. So what you do is you hit the takeoff button.
/O and set.
What it does, it gave me
bugs.
It gave me what I need to set these my N1 bugs to, which is 92. I can do them individually, like going like this, and do all 4 of them, or I can cheat by clicking on this guy right here,
set,
and then it'll automatically set them all for me. So this is all set and ready to go for you know, for operation. Okay, now what's it telling me to do now? It's telling me to get clearance for takeoff, or for flight clearance stuff. Okay, Now, in other words, if I was doing an IFR, I'd be getting my IFR clearances right now.
GPU.
Okay, now we're going to get rid of the GPU.
Remove. Chocks.
And we'll get rid of the chocks.
Remove. Stairs.
Okay, so
doors.
because I've already closed it all.
Closed. Start up clearance.
So now we're going to start the aircraft up. We'll get our clearance, and if we were, I think in the European world, you have to get authorization to start your engines, whereas here in the U.S., we just start our damn engines. You know, we don't care.
Receive. Beacon light.
Beacon light. Okay, so we got to turn on our beacon light. Now, granted, that may be on busy airports. You may have to get clearances. I don't know.
On. APU air.
APU air is currently on, and they want to turn off because we're about ready to start the engines here. So we're going to turn off our APU.
Off.
We're going to turn off our packs.
Off. Pushback.
Okay, pushback. We don't have to mess with it because we can just go straight.
Started/done. Fuel pumps.
Already all on.
All on. Start PWR.
Okay, our starting
norm. Start master.
That's this one. Our start master goes on.
Start selector.
Start selector. We're going to start with engine number 4 first.
Start switch.
Now, I've seen a lot of people, what they do is they will start with engine 4 and then they'll just go 3, 2, 1. And the logic behind that is that way if you have a fire with 4 and 3, you still have a way to be able to get evacuated out of the aircraft with opening the doors. If you had passengers or or crew, you have a way to get out the left side out the door if you have a fire. For me personally, because I don't have things like that set up here and we are in the sim world, I usually start out with engine number 4 and then I jump to engine number 1 and then finish 2 and 3 in the center. The reason being is so then as soon as I hit number 4 and number 1, then I can activate the generators for both to take the load off of the APU. That's my personal logic. Whether that's right or wrong, whatever, it's to each his own. Tomato, that kind of thing. But that's my logic, is I start engines 1 and 4 for both generators, and then 2 and 3. But if you want to do the safety thing, then of course you definitely want to do the 4, 3, then 2, and then 1. Actually, what you would do is you do 4, 3, and then 1, which is the furthest way away from the door. So if you have a fire between 1, 3, and 4, 2 is not active at that particular moment in time. You could still be able to get egress out of the airplane for safety. So it's any kind of combination there. But in this case, we're in a flight simulation, so what we're going to do is we're going to do number 4. So let's go with number 4. So we're going to go ahead and hit the button, which is going to be right here. Right here is the engine. We'll start it.
Start.
You can see it started right now.
Engine 4 and 2.
And we hit this button here to release it. And now we let this thing go up to right at almost 15% or above.
Engine 4 throttle.
And then we go ahead and raise the throttle up.
Fuel on.
And now it is set.
Engine 4 starter.
Ready. It's ready for action. So we'll let this settle.
For engines 3-2-1.
So now I am going to jump over to 4 because I can, because I am the captain. I am responsible for 400 people. And then we'll hit engine number 1, which is right here. Hit it. We'll let it go up to right along in there somewhere, good enough, and then hit it right there, and there we go. Now this is going to come up. Now what I could do is I can go ahead and hit generator number 1 on, which I'm going to be off sync of the checklist, but I don't care. I can turn that on. Now I can turn the galley on. Like I say again, I'm going off track of, and we can go ahead and hit number 2 or number 3. Hit start. Number 3. Let number 3 build up. Close enough. Number 3 goes up. Number 3 is the one that actually has the engine spool up sound. I don't know why the other 4 don't have the spool up sound for the engine, but this one does. There may be a reason for that. But you listen, you can hear this thing spooling up. They probably have a reason for it. I don't know. Okay, so that takes care of that. Now we're going to hit engine number 2. And we have a fully armed and operational aircraft. Okay, so that's going up right now, and now we can go ahead, once this is clear, and that is now clear, we'll go ahead and turn in all of our pitot heats and all this other stuff, because he's going to be asking me to do it anyway. And then he's also going to ask me to turn on the APU air and the packs back on, so we'll get those out of the way right now, and then we'll go ahead and finish the checklist.
Start selector.
I actually restarted it. So let's jump on over. Transponder. See, now, because I got impatient and I went through all the BS. Actually, no, that's not right.
Off. Start master.
Okay, we got to turn these off.
Off.
Off, off.
Gen 1. On. Galley.
On.
On. Gen 4.
On.
On. APU air.
Back on.
On.
Packs back on.
On.
Okay.
Brake fans.
Brake fans. We're going to turn those on to automatic.
Auto. English 2 pump.
Okay, English 2. Engine 2 pump.
On.
Hydraulic pump
Yellow
on.
high press. Greater than 1,500 psi. English 3 pump.
English 3 pump.
On.
Which I think is kind of funny.
Green high press. Greater than 2,000 psi. Screen heat L and R. On. Auxiliary and L vane.
This is what all these.
On. Pitot HTRS L and R. On. XPDR mode. TA/RA. Flaps.
Flaps 18. We'll take our flaps down to 18. Take a look outside. And they are going down. Those big flower. I can't even say it right. Flower. I can't even pronounce it. Those big flaps. So they are down and ready for action.
18. Tail and rud trim. Centered.
Those are centered.
ELEV trim. Green. Yoke roll axis.
Yoke roll axis. Left.
Check.
Right.
Yoke pitch axis.
Forward or backward.
Check.
Forward.
Rudder pedals.
Rudder pedals.
Check. Taxi clearance.
Taxi clearance. But we will go outside and make sure that everything is working like it's supposed to. Okay. All working. Taxi clearance.
Received. Taxi lights.
Taxi lights on.
On. Parking brakes.
Parking brakes. You want me to release them? Okay, you want me to release them. So we'll come back here to standard. Release parking brake.
Ground speed.
We'll get a little bit of speed.
Greater than 0.1.
And then hit the brake.
Test.
Brake
AC
test is good.
pump.
AC pump on or automatic.
Auto or on. Cont IGNA/B.
Okay, if we were in icing conditions, we'd have that on, but we don't need it.
As REQ.
Icing protection. We don't need it.
As REQ. Radios.
Radios. If I was doing the radio thing, I'd be talking to everybody and all this other happy stuff. Autopilot, we will go ahead and pre-do. We already got heading 240, so we'll go ahead and turn on our heading. Now we're going to take this opportunity to figure out where we're going to go. So where are we going to go? Well, we're going to do our homegrown here. This is our homegrown. This is something I downloaded actually for the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform, but it's called Let's Fly plugin that you get over at flightsim.to. And so we're going to put in our airport as KWJF. If I can actually type it in, KWJF, and then we're going to do validate airport. So now there is our airport. Now where are we going to go? Well, what I like about this little utility right here is right down here. Request minimum runway. This aircraft that we are flying requires a minimum runway length of 5,000 feet to land. So we're going to put in 5,550 feet as our minimum landing runway. And takeoff is actually 4,800 or something, 4,500 or something like that for the BAe146-200. So I can actually mix in, say, hey, I want you to find me a place for me to land that has got 5,550 feet or greater. And then we're going to say medium airport or large airport or small airport. We don't care. So we're going to put in those three criteria, and I want hard surface. I don't want to be messing around with landing on a grass runway or whatever. So we'll put in, obviously we can't land on water. So what makes this thing attractive to me is the fact that if I go and I take a job from Flight Jobs or not Flight Jobs, a bad example, but from other utilities, they will actually send me to an airport, a job that does not meet the criteria of my aircraft. I've had it happen to me time and time again, and it's just really, really annoying that that I get these add-ons, and these add-ons don't. They always say, even Air Hauler 2 is the same way. It doesn't recognize that, hey, I'm in this aircraft. I got to be landing at these particular airports. It can't go to a 2,500 foot runway. It's just not going to happen. So what I like about this utility is that it allows me to pick whatever I want. So what I will do is I'll say I'm going to fly minimum of 1,000 or a maximum of 1,000, minimum of 100. We'll go over here and we'll say North America because that's where we are currently residing right now. And I'll say random country, whether it be Mexico or Canada, and then random on region. So we'll put everything random there. And then as far as if we want to have land on lights, you could add that, but I don't care. Unfortunately, with this version of Let's Fly version 2.0, it doesn't allow you to save this preset. I really wish it would. They're probably trying to set it up for you to actually they want you to give them money, so that's probably why this is not active. Another thing too is that the airport database that this is looking up, I believe, is the Microsoft Flight Simulator database, not the X-Plane database. So, but if it's the same airport, then we're more than likely we're fine. So then all you do is just hit Let's Fly, and let's see where we're going to fly to here. It says we are leaving here, and then we are going to some airport in Oregon, which were Alka Lake Municipality Airport. Okay, I'm not familiar with this airport at all. So elevation is 4,000. So what we're going to do is we are going to say it's going to tell me what this airport is. So this is what the airport looks like. Okay. It wants me to go to an airport that there is nothing there. No services whatsoever. No. Field elevation. What's the length of the airport? I put in that 5,000, so it's telling me this thing is longer than 5,000. I guess. Well, anyway, I'm not really. Oops, I didn't want to do that. So I'm not digging that airport here. So we'll just do another one. We'll spam another one. And this one right here looks like maximum runway length is 6,400. So this one right here is probably going to have services here. Oh yeah, a lot better. You can see all the big airplanes. And this is in Arizona. Matter of fact, this airport is a graveyard airport. Interesting. Pin Hill Air Park. Well, I've never been there, so you know what? Let's fly there. Good enough for me. I'll take it. So that is going to be our airport. Now, what we need to do is I need to go over here to SimBrief and let's see if we can bind that airport to SimBrief. So our airline code is Solus Wings Executive. And then our flight number is going to be 4572. There we go. Made it up. KWJF 2. What was our... so it's KMZJ. KMZJ. Let's see if that's a legit airport in the SimBrief database. Come on, SimBrief, tell me what you got. Okay, SimBrief, and it says my alternate is Phoenix, Arizona. My information is here. My passenger count is 0 because we are in this aircraft that has no passengers, but it's going to automatically give me my cargo, of how much cargo I'm going to carry. And then there is analyze the route. The route is going to be that, what the latest Iraq data, so that's good there. Everything looks fine, and there's going to be our plan. So we'll go ahead and generate the flight. So it's generating the flight here. Okay. Now obviously you'd be doing all this before we did our walk around of the aircraft. But because the way things worked out, we're not doing it that way. We're kind of cheating here. Looks like they want me to go to flight level 290. Yep, flight level 290. We're carrying 13,031 blocks of fuel. And how much are we carrying on weight? Payload weight. Payload weight, we're carrying 16,800 pounds. So, right here is our payload weight. So what we are going to do then is we are going to go back into the aircraft right here, and we're going to get that set up here for us. Okay, programming note here. Before I continue this flight, I'm going to break this up into the second video. I'll make this video part 1, and then the other video is part 2, which will be programming the FMC and taking the information we just got from SimBrief, and then I'll do the flight. I'll do a musical montage with the flight, and then we'll do the landing, and then we'll end the overall video on the part 2. So I will see you guys over on part 2. That's the best way to handle this. There's reasons for that. So just go with me on it. Thank you, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.